Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Vista Hany Eka. My ID number is 1913025008. I'm from Education Information Technology, Lampung University. It's good to be here because I will present a topic about operating system. Previously, did you know what is operating system is? But I think you all know what is operating system is, because the device that we use, such as computer, laptop, and smartphone, are definitely use an operating system. Okay, without further ado, let's move to the first point of my talk, is introduction of operating system. So, operating system is a system software that manages the resource of hardware and software, as well as a daemon for computer programs. Without an operating system, users cannot run application programs on their computer, except root programs. Let's move on to function of operating system. The first function is manage all software and hardware on the computer. The operating system controls hardware functions such as memory, CPU, hard disk, and other hardware, and also control the function of software programs to connect with these hardware devices. The second is perform basic operation. Before the application runs on the computer, the operating system allows the program or application to run and be displayed to user or user who use the computer device. And the third is presenting an appearance. Regarding about this, the operating system has a task of translating the programming language that comes to the CPU, which is be displayed in the form of graphic. Text and display type are easy to read by user. Also, it has a function as an interface between the user and hardware or hardware use. And the fourth is computer device coordination, to coordinate all the things that we are in the computer in terms of compiling complex programs to the simpler and more sequential. In other words, it provides advantage in helping user work more practically and efficiently. Now, let's look at the operating system part. Operating system has an important part, namely as follows. The boot mechanism is to put the kernel into the memory on the computer, and the kernel is the core of an operating system. Common interpreter or shell function to read input from the client. Libraries, which is provide a collection of several basic and standard functions that can be called by other applications. And the last is driver. Its function is to be able to connect with external hardware. Okay, next is how does the operating system work? The operating system works when the computer is first turned on. The computer we call the operating system stored on the hard disk or hard drive via RAM, and part of operating system that plays a direct role in communication with the hardware, namely kernel. The part of the operating system whose task is to connect the application user interface with the user is called the shell. Now, I like to turn to the story of operating system. There have been several generations of operating system history. The first generation is from 1945 until 1955. The beginning of the development of electronic computer system that are used are substituted for mechanical computer system. And the second generation is from 1955 until 1965, introducing BPS or batch processing system, which is task that is done in series that it will be executed sequentially. And the third generation is from 1965 until 1960. Operating system is already support multi-programming, multi-user, and batch processing system or multitask services. And the fourth generation is from 1980s until post-1980 it introduces the graphical user or GUI. Operating system already has a display with a mouse where an user can run application or software or programs. And the last is next generation. Already has a mobile operating system that works on mobile devices such as PDA, Pocket PC, or others, and the other introduction of the cross-platform operating system, which made it can combine two different operating systems at once. Okay, next is the point of number. Next is the second point is the type of operating system. There are four types of operating system based on the number of user and program that are runs. The first is single user, single tasking. One computer is used by one user and can run only one program at a time. Example is MS-DOS. And then multi-user, single tasking. One computer can be used by many users, and each user can only run one program at a time. For example, is Novel Network. It's for network tests. And single user multitasking. One computer can be used by one user and can run many programs at one time. For example, is Windows. And multi-user or multitasking. One computer can be used by many users that can run many programs at one time. For example, is Linux. Now is example of desktop operating system. First is DOS OS. DOS is standard for this operating system, which is the origin of the computer operating method used by IBM. The operating system, which is forerunner of Microsoft Windows, as with its predecessor version of computer devices, the display of DOS is still black and white, and the text and no image are displayed. Because it's still old school, there is no good interface yet. The process of entering the word also uses the writing that we know as the command prompts. For the advantage of DOS OS is the lightweight and does not consume much memory, has high compatibility, and has a very small size. And for deficiency or disadvantage is the instructions are only in writing, there are no graphics, and there is no interface yet. And the second is Windows operating system. Windows is an operating system developed by Microsoft using a graphical user interface or GUI that allows user to interact with computer using a visual display that makes it very easy for user. This operating system has evolved from MS-DOS, a text-based software with the use of the command line. Windows version 1.0 was first introduced on November 10, 1983, but only shipped in November 1985. But now, Windows has released various operating systems like Windows Vista, Windows 7, and the last one is the Windows 10, which was introduced on July 29, 2015. And the advantage of Windows OS is user-friendly, abundant Windows operating system application. It's easier for the installation process. And its advantage is not open source, easy to hack because it has a weak security system, paid and quite expensive, vulnerable to virus attack. And the third is Mac operating system. Mac operating system standard for Macintosh operating system, which is an exclusive operating system that only exists in the computer made by Apple. Mac OS has been launched since 1984, which was first used on a computer called Lisa. Lisa is a computer created by Steve Jobs after he took a spiritual journey in India. For the example of Mac operating system is OS X Lion 2011, Mountain Lion 2012, Redflix 2013, Yosemite 2014, El Capitan, which is released in 2015. An advantage of Mac OS is more stable, has high security, and is not easy to hack. The interface is suitable for multimedia purposes and safe from viruses. And disadvantage is less optimal for gaming. The price is relatively expensive and not open source. And the fourth is Linux operating system. The Linux operating system was introduced in 1991 by Linus Torvalds. Linux is open source operating system which you can modify and use the distribute freely. In general, Linux users install and will configure their own system configuration. Linux has several types of distribution including the following: Ubuntu, Red Hat, Fedora, Slackware, Backrack, CentOS, Debian, Mandrive, etc. The advantage of Linux operating system is open source operating system. The development is very fast because it is developed by many people and is free. There is no license, and for deficiency is not recommended for new users, and the installation is fairly difficult and limited Linux application. And now for mobile operating system, first we have Android operating system. The Android operating system is an operating system based on Linux, which is specifically designed to be implemented in a mobile device such as smartphone and tablet computer. Android operating system was originally developed by Android, which is support funds from Google, until finally Google bought its operating system in 20. Until finally Google bought this operating system in 2005. That is, operating system was released in 2007. An advantage from Android operating system is that it is open source and it's free, multitasking, supported with application available from the Google Play Store, support the use of USB mass storage, and disadvantage is prone to being attacked by malware and wasteful battery usage. Second is iOS. iOS is mobile operating system created by the Apple company. The previous name is iPhone operating system. This operating system is specifically used by Apple's mobile devices, namely iPhone, iWatch, iPod, and Apple TV. This operating system was first released in 2007 and is closed source, so the device from other vendors than Apple cannot use this mobile operating system. iOS is second to the Android in terms of its current users. And an advantage from iOS is can back up and restore quickly, open the API, iOS connection from Mac OS X, and content. And this advantage is priced to high and limited device selection, no multitasking feature, no micro SD available, and wasteful battery usage. And there is still many operating systems that use 4 devices. Okay, that's bring me to the end of presentation. To sum up my presentation, I'd like to say the operating system is a system software whose job is to control and manage hardware and also the basic operating of the system, including running application programs. And this operating system is very important for our devices. Without an operating system, a computer, cell phone cannot run. because this operating system manages all the devices in this phone. That is all from me. Thank you for listening my presentation, and I will be glad to answer any question. And we have two questions here. First question is, please provide three main operating system activity related to memory management. Okay, three main operating system activity related to memory management is, first, monitor the memory in use and who is using it. Select program to load into a memory. And the last is allocate memory space as needed. And the second question is, why devices using the Mac operating system are more expensive than those using the Windows operating system? As you know, MacBook use Mac operating system, which was developed exclusively by Apple, unlike the Asus, HP, Dell, and other brands that use Microsoft Windows operating system. To feel exclusively offered by Mac operating system, it's only fitting that we have to pay yearly. And Windows is very vulnerable to computer viruses, but for MacBook, a virus is something that impossible to access because all direct monitored by Apple. The reason is to enjoy a movie or music, you should get authorization from the Apple first, so it cannot be arbitrary. Okay, once again, that is all from me. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.